Etsy loses 1.4 million sellers as marketplace momentum slows. Etsy's active seller base has dropped from 7 million to 5.6 million, making marking its third straight quarter of decline. The platform also saw a dip in buyers and overall sales, signaling broader challenges beyond just seller attrition. While some of this decline may be due to Etsy cleaning up counterfeit sellers, data shows new seller signups have sharply fallen since the pandemic peak. For Amazon sellers, this highlights the key contrast. Amazon and Walmart marketplaces continue to expand, while Etsy appears to be losing momentum in the handmade space.
Yeah.
So, Danon, initial thoughts on that?
So, during COVID, we saw a lot of peaks of certain things. Of course, also a lot of statistical dives as well. I I'm wondering. My gut reaction was, well, maybe they're just cleaning up. But then, since both customer base and sales revenue has fallen as well, it
Mhm.
makes me wonder: was this a flash in the pan? And I would think that when buyers go there, well, let's see. I know a lot of people went to go and get handmade masks and stuff like that. So that
Yeah.
would make sense. And maybe we're just seeing COVID related sellers just drop off and buyers as well. So it could just be that.
Yeah, it could be. My gut tells me that it's more to do with Etsy no longer kind of being the um losing its what would it be called? Makes it shine, right? What makes it special when they
Mm,
opened it up to all of the drop shipping and foreign sellers and stuff like that.
that's right.
Now, what is the purpose to shop on Etsy versus just making it easy and buying it on Amazon along with all the rest of your stuff?
Yeah. So I was just checking. I wonder if, yeah, because I remembered, I think we mentioned this in a different episode where Etsy
Mhm.
opened it up, just like Amazon did. They opened it up to China to be able to fulfill direct, and that's,
Right.
we saw the hit for that. Amazon, of course, made a ton of money, but as soon as they opened it up to these mass-produced products, which I'm not sure exactly when that was, but I know it was fairly recent. I guess it's not too surprising that these people maybe they're going on to Shopify.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's been a relatively big revolt, at least a lot of news about upset sellers and things with the changes that Etsy's been doing.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like it's an example of a niche marketplace that was doing really well that tried to expand into a general audience and basically is destroying itself because of it.
Yeah, this happens so often in business that you capitalize on a market and then you go, "Oh, well, we've done it here. Why don't we open it up to everyone? Or why don't we off you know what? A perfect example of that is service providers. Hey, we do ads. Oh, cool. Let me also do SEO. And and then I'm not saying everybody has this, but there are definitely a fair number of agencies that said, we're a full service agency, and they're great at one thing and garbage or just mediocre at something else. And, you know, that's because they want to capitalize on the revenue of offering
Mhm.
other things, and but they excuse me, but they're no good at it. So they have no
Yeah.
business doing that or offering that. And I see no difference here at all.
Yeah, yeah, it's tempting to always offer more things and do more,
Yeah.
especially when people are asking for stuff, like you mentioned with the PPC, and then somebody's asking, well, can you do my graphics? Well, sure, I
Yeah.
guess we can do the graphics, but you're mediocre at the graphics when you're excellent at the PPC.
Yeah.
And then you start getting a bad rep or a bad representation of your business. based off of, maybe some mediocre graphics or whatever the case may be. And
Yeah.
so that could be same kind of thing here. Etsy was great at the custom products and tailoring to that market. And now they're opening it up to be more like Amazon, and they're just mediocre at that at best.
Well, I'd say less than mediocre if they've lost almost 20%, something like that.
Yeah, and they were growing rapidly since this graph I'm showing here goes from 2020, where they were at about 2.5 million there in 2020. It was just a rapid rise up to about 7 million in the first quarter of 2024, and just a decline since then every quarter.
Now, given that we're looking at 4 years here, I would expect there to be some equalization, right? So maybe what we're seeing is, all these people, they sold at least one item in the last 12 months, and they got on there because it was easy and there was a ton of advertising going behind it. And then like, cool, sold that item. And now we're just equalizing. It wouldn't surprise me if we landed somewhere around 5 million, 5 to 6 million, and it just kind of equalized. But at that point, they still more than doubled their seller base in the course of 5 years. That's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, it'll definitely be something to watch. I mean, the negative side of that is that Walmart and Amazon are still rapidly growing their seller bases.
True.
And to see a shrinking seller base when your competitors are growing is not necessarily a good sign. But if Etsy can refocus on its core of handmade, they don't need as many sellers to focus in on that. A marketplace like Etsy doesn't necessarily get better by adding millions of new sellers every year.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think we have all seen that as Amazon grows, it gets worse and worse for us sellers in terms of, I mean, I would never say that there's not an opportunity there. I would just say it gets more and more complicated, and things become a bigger pain in the butt the more they grow.
Yeah, definitely. Everything's going to be harder, and logistics is the big thing, right? Etsy doesn't have any kind of logistics like Amazon has. So their sellers don't get any help delivering products. They're got to use UPS, USPS, and fulfill out of their own warehouses, or use a 3PL or something like that, which I doubt most Etsy sellers are using 3PL unless they're the drop shippers and the bulk manufacturers that have started selling on there.
Yeah. Yep.
I just recently bought a couple garden flags, for Easter. One has like Lent on it, and another one is for Easter, for He is Risen. It has on it and stuff like that. And the only reason I bought it on Etsy is because all the sellers on Amazon were from China. And I went to Etsy, and there was a bunch of US based sellers that I was able to buy from. But otherwise, the most of the products were also on Amazon that I was seeing on Etsy.
Yeah. Man, I'll say it again. I was so pissed when Amazon got rid of the checkbox to display only US based businesses. I was so bummed they did that, because that's how we shopped. We only wanted to buy from US based businesses.
Yes, I do it with the Helium 10 plugin. That's how I do it at this point. And if I see the red flag, I just scroll by all those listings until I see the US or Canada or some European country or something like that.
Yeah. That plugin is free, right?
I have no idea. I've paid for it for so long. I don't know if it's for free or not for sure.
Okay. I think
we've got one comment that came in. Miraz Hassan says that's exactly right. With Etsy losing 1.4 million sellers and increasing FOB costs, TikTok Shop's cross-channel sales data offers some really important insights. A detailed discussion on how the selling strategy should be designed in 2025 will be very helpful. What will be discussed in today's live screen will surely be valuable for everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
That kind of sounds like an AI reply. I'm not sure. Sorry if it's not, but yeah, TikTok Shop is coming up actually. We're going to be talking about it here in a couple posts. So we're going to be talking about TikTok Shop. But yeah, he brings up a good point. Actually, could part of that decline be because of TikTok Shop?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see why not. I mean, we're in it today, so we can only speculate, right? In 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, we'll be able to go look back at these live streams. Not that they will ever do that and be like, "Oh, we were totally wrong. It was this." You know,
Yeah.
it
Well,
was
we
Ridley.
won't.
Ridley
AI
really,
will.
really
We'll ask AI.
exactly,
Hey, was I right in my predictions back in 2025?
exactly. Actually, you know what? That's a good. Do we get the transcript from this?
Well, when you upload it to YouTube, yeah, it auto generates a transcript. So,
Ooh.
assuming AI will have access to that, then it will be there. Yeah. And
Oh,
also, the
maybe we
show
should.
notes are on the website. So,
Okay, maybe we should feed everything into a Notebook LM, and
mhm,
then just as we go, like, "Hey, were the predictions correct?"
yes,
It'd be
that would
fun,
be
fun little
cool.
project.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of AI bots that you can build like that. You just feed in everything you've ever created, videos, audios, transcripts, and everything else. And then it basically tries to act like you and answer questions in your voice and everything else.